Hi folks, welcome back. This is Trevor from History on the Move, and if you remember the previous video that we did a couple videos ago, where we got you inside the cab of the William Mason, boy have I got something special for you today. Back here with my buddy Chris. Chris, good to see you again. We're actually standing outside of the
Lafayette.
And you have run this before.
I have.
So let's get up inside and Chris will show us around.
Well, I gotta leave. I gotta see.
Okay, so we are going to get pretty personal with the Lafayette. Don't get too crazy on me now. But Chris is going to show us, when was the last time you ran this? Do you remember? Yeah.
Last time it ran, which was
12, 13?
99. It was, yeah, sometime around 13 or 14.
13 or 14, okay. So walk me through what it's basically looks like a tea kettle on wheels, essentially, right? This, when you go to when you ran it, was it coal or wood you guys fired it on?
I've run it off both. We initially were using coal, and then it was just decided it was a lot easier when we were only running it for exhibition. We were not putting a lot of load into it, and we could keep the head of steam up just fine with wood. So that's what we did the last time we ran it.
Okay. And this is, so it's a horizontal boiler, which this would have been so this is actual representation of, so it was brand new construction in 1927, because this was originally built for Fair of the Iron Horse that year. But the original Lafayette was built in 1837. 37. Thank you. Fact check false. Trevor is wrong sometimes. And so, talk me through what are we looking at here? Give me kind of the real basics of what does this do? What does that do?
Pretty basic steam engine, and you're just missing the cab. So you've got your sight glasses here, which allow you to monitor your water level inside the boiler.
Okay.
There's one on the other side as well. You have your injector right here, which just like the Mason, our injector, it's just a little smaller here.
Okay.
But that's how we actually put water into the boiler when it's under pressure. You've got the throttle valve right there in the center. And on the other side, we can see there is a reverse lever, and it's connected to this, which is our reversing mechanism.
Oh, look at that.
It's a lot more simple than on later locomotives. We basically only have forward, reverse, and neutral. There's no different settings on the reverser for timing as you go.
Gotcha.
It's either in forward or reverse. That's pretty much it for this side. You've got your safety valve up top. The original safety valve would have been located in the center, so that's what that device would have been. That is no longer functional. It's there for mostly looks.
Okay. Aesthetics.
For aesthetics, that's right. To match the original, what the original would have had. Other than that, we've got again fairly simple locomotive. You've got one drive wheel.
Talk to me about valve gear, because this is something James, who's behind the camera right now, him and I were trying to look at this before we started filming. How does the valve gear work? Because I don't see, there's not Stevenson's, right? It's not anything Walsh Arts.
It's just simple slide valves right up here. You've got eccentrics back there on the drive axle.
Okay.
And the eccentrics then work off the rod right here, which is what we do. We can lift that on and off with our with the levers inside the cab, as far as whether it's forward or reverse or neutral.
Okay.
And they basically would seat. So this would seat on top of here.
So point that out again. So this.
So your rod is connected right here, and that's going to seat back on the pin
Gotcha.
back there. And then there's another, actually the other rod, there's two rods, there's one right here as well that seats on that pin.
So this is even more, this is just the most simple version of a steam engine you could possibly come up with.
This is just very, very simple.
And this is your
Injector line.
That's the injector. Okay.
That's the check valve for the injector.
Check valve, okay. And this was obviously way before Nathan lubricators and all that good stuff. So you just
everything would be, yeah.
put a few drops in.
Lubrication cups, you can keep those full.
Okay.
Same thing as Mason up here for your cylinder oil lubricators. And then you've got a couple of drip boilers that were put on after the fact.
Okay, so this
when
is
we were running it here. Yeah.
some aftermarket stuff.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry to interrupt, but thanks for the ride today.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
so this is just a basic slide valve,
Slide
right?
valve,
There's
yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
crazy going on there.
It's very
Okay.
simple slide valve.
And what else? So what is this? I see this pipe here that's
That
come
would
up.
be the blower. That's what.
That's the blower. Okay.
Draft inducer is what the traction people call them. It's basically forces a jet of steam into the stack towards the top, pulls an artificial draft into the firebox to pull more oxygen in to have your fire burn hotter.
Would the original Lafayette have had that, or do you think that was?
I mean, don't quote me on that 100%,
Okay.
but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that the earlier engines, they understood draft at that point. And,
Gotcha.
You know, having an artificial draft would have been helpful.
Okay. Why don't we walk around to the fireman side? Engineer side, and let's take a look. See over.
Not alone if your house is a home or your pride is a mama and child. Still I'm prone to get down when the pressure gets too much and I can't deny it. Share your love with me in the morning, cause tonight I had too much. When I drink I tend to get to rambling about nothing and fuck it all up. Well, I gotta leave, I gotta see this through. I wanna be.
Okay, so we moved over to the engineer side. Chris, walk me through here what we were talking about.
So this is our reverse lever right here. When basically, as we saw on the other side, there's the rods sit kind of on top of pins, and then to drop them into place, you can either push it into gear when you're moving, or when you're sitting still. We kind of move that forward here. I'll move back again, and forward. Okay, and then you can take these right here, and this just kind of moves everything until it seats in place.
Huh.
And now it's locked in place.
So that acts as a lock for.
Well, that acts as, it basically allows the reverse gear to set up, to set it in place.
Okay. And the other, so it is.
You do either or depending on where they are.
Okay. Well, that solves the mystery then, because I thought it was a grate shaker. Well, I am wrong.
That is incorrect.
So okay, so that's.
And then once you're in forward or reverse, you set your locking pin in to a little easier than that when you're up there, but in place. So
Set your locking pin in. Okay. And then you have your tricox.
Yep, tricox would before sight glasses. This one does have two sight glasses because it ran on the model here.
Okay.
But before that they would use their tricox to keep track of the water in the boiler. You've got a second safety valve and the whistle up there, pressure gauge back here, and that's really all there is to this thing. There's not much to it.
And what was the safety, the pop off for the safety? Like, what did you guys run it
this
at?
engine ran at 65 psi, I think.
65.
Yeah,
Okay.
If I recall right, it was running 65.
Wow. All right, and then looking over here, I'm kind of curious as to what are we looking at? Is this part of
So
the?
that is another crosshead pump.
That's another
like we talked
crosshead
about
pump.
on the Mason that
Okay.
would have pumped water into the boiler. You can see the check valve. This one actually does function on this engine.
Oh, it does.
Yes, because you've only got the one injector. You have to have two to run a steam locomotive in post Gettysburg regulations.
Right.
You do have to have two ways to put water into the boiler. So either you have two injectors, or in this case, you have one injector and one crosshead pump.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's a safety factor of 2.
Yes.
Okay. And other than that, I mean, so something else I want to point out, and maybe you probably already know this, is the original design for these actually came in 1832. So 1832 rolls around, And Matthias Baldwin and William Norris both started their respective companies in Philadelphia. You probably already know that. And then William Norris came up with this design, the Lafayette, in 1837. But even around that era, there's a guy named John B. Jervis. Does that name ring a bell?
It does not.
He was the guy that came up with the four-wheel leading truck.
Okay.
Fun fact, he actually never patented it. So the railroads and the locomotive company just kind of came in and said, all right, it's open to the public. We're going to go ahead and take it on. So John B. Jervis is the father, if you will, of the four-wheel leading truck, and Baldwin and Norris began to take it on. That to me was like, I mean, you look at something like this and you go, well, how did we get to this point? And you know, you come from the crabs and the grasshoppers to the first horizontal boiler.
Well, because these were William Norris, this is the one-arm Billy.
The one-arm Billy, I love that.
What these were referred to.
The one-arm Billy. Now, in terms of running this thing, obviously, I don't see any brakes. There's no brakes on this thing, period.
There is a tender brake.
There is a tender brake.
There's a hand brake on the tender, which is all any steam locomotive would have had until the advent of air brakes.
Okay. So that's this guy here.
Right there, yep.
And so all it does is, as you turn that, is there a mechanism down there? There's a gear. I see the gear here.
It's just basic. Same thing that's on a modern freight car. It's just your basic handbrake set up to pull the brake shoes against the wheels.
Gotcha.
Basic brake rigging.
Now, when you guys ran this, did you utilize that, or how did you guys stop it?
Then if we needed to slow down, we could do that,
Okay.
or we could. We definitely used it when we were sitting still. You don't want to secure the engine when you're not moving.
Gotcha.
So you would use it definitely then. But if it was a good fail-safe to have, you need to slow down. Otherwise, you would just use the reverser.
And so you talked about it on the Mason, I think, is when you go to stop, if you're already in forward, you just pull the Johnson bar back to reverse?
Back to reverse, yep. And then
Close the throttle?
The back pressure of the on the cylinders will slow you down.
Okay, but the throttle stays closed, is that right?
The throttle would generally stay closed. If you really needed to, you could give it a little bit of pressure to slow it down a little more. But generally you're, especially again when we're trying to be more cognizant of preservation, we don't want to beat this equipment up too much. So you would try not to use the throttle to slow it down if you can help it.
And for you personally, so what was it like compare and contrast running the Mason versus running the Lafayette?
This thing was fun. It was very simple. It's it doesn't want to go as fast as the Mason did, but it can be a lot of fun. It's pretty simple. The throttle is tougher than you would think to move, and because of the valve gear being so simple, there's only so many things it could do. But it's really amazing how much power it does have.
Yeah.
I can, however, tell you that the invention of the cab roof is one of the greatest inventions ever. It did. Whenever we pulled this thing out, it wound up raining.
Man.
So you just stand there getting wet.
That's
There's
funny.
no other alternative. So.
Well, so fun fact, I guarantee you already know this, but the only time this thing's ever had a cab is the movie Great Locomotive Chase, when Walt Disney and Company put a cab on this thing to run as the Yona, which was the yard engine for the ironworks. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but yeah, so cabs didn't really come into existence. Obviously, they came into existence post one-arm Billies, I assume. Is that correct?
I believe so. I think different railroads and different makers experimented with them on a different level. They were not, in England they weren't a big deal, and so the first engines here, they weren't a big deal. But I don't think anybody can pinpoint exactly when they came about. It was just kind of a convenience thing that they started adding at some point.
People got tired of the weather, essentially.
I mean,
That's kind of what it boils down to.
It happens.
It does happen. So, in terms of I think we talked about this on the Mason as well. Do you ever kind of get you think to yourself, man, this thing's a piece of history. Obviously, it's preserved, but this thing's been in all these movies: Amistad, Great Locomotive Chase, Stand Up and Fight. This thing is also a movie star.
Oh, for sure.
And if you watch those movies, do you ever kind of think to yourself, man, I got to run that?
It's fun to see that. Yeah, it's fun to see that. You're like, oh, I know that engine. So it was, and being one of the people that was able to run this recently, I mean, that is kind of an honor. I mean, it was definitely a cool thing that we were able to do. So, I mean, even though it was only built in 1927, it's historically significant in its own right, even as a replica. So.
All right, last question. It's a loaded question. I know this, but what is it in your mind? Is it more fun, or like compare and contrast running this versus something up at the Valley Railroad in Connecticut, the big 282s? And
It's apples and oranges, really. It's like riding a bicycle versus driving a car. I mean, the principle is the same, right?
Right.
But you know, this when we ran this, we only ran it light. We didn't pull anything with it.
Lack of air brakes would.
Lack of air brakes, and so it's just a different feeling altogether. Like it was definitely fun. It was maybe a little less nerve-wracking because you're not dealing with an entire train of passengers and whatnot. It's just different.
Yeah, right on. All right, well, that's all the questions I can think of. I think this has been one of the best experiences sitting here, or standing here really, and going through this. So I hope you out there in YouTube land, I hope you got something out of this. Feel free, come by and look at the Lafayette yourself. It's not going anywhere. And if you see Chris on the train, make sure you wave and say hi. He's one of the best guys here. So this is Trevor, James behind the camera, and Chris from History on the Move. We'll catch you next time.